Is Sauce Sports or whatever that last call was talking about. What the hell is that?
They're from Free Love, man.
What's the motherfucking deal, man? Welcome to Sauce Sports. If you're not familiar with Sauce Sports is the Houston, Texas home network. We talking all sports, but only Houston. Let's notice something. Hello, y'all give me a second while I'm doing. No, fuck it ain't hurt nothing. Shit, we good. Talking all sports, but only Houston. But with that being said, man, like I say, I'm your host, Honcho. We got a gentleman from the round getting down with us this afternoon, man. Who we got in the mix with us tonight, man?
What's good, Sauce Nation? It's your boy Spitz, ready to drop another good video for y'all. What's good?
Already. So, first and foremost, if y'all hadn't checked out Spitz's video, he just did a mock draft, and it was excellent, so you got to go check that out. Now, a lot of y'all are much more adept into the collegiate process than I am, because I'm telling you, I have really gotten out of college ball, especially like the last few years, and so a lot of these prospects that be coming, that's why I don't really necessarily do the mock drafts. That's why I really don't get real big into the prospects, but definitely the round, I definitely rely on the round. They provide much more than adequate knowledge, because they definitely do. They do due diligence. So if you're not watching, if you're not peeping, y'all need to be on that. But today we're going to get into talking about positions of need, man, like the biggest positions of need for this team. And I know head coach and I know GM are two of the two biggest, but unfortunately, the powers that be or the powers that lack feel like we're okay with this. And I was thinking of something, man. I was thinking of something. It's just a crazy idea I was thinking of actually right before the stream. What if teams, like what if your football teams were like, you pick coaches like the people, like say, you know, a lot of these teams, they get tax money to build these stadiums, you're spending the taxpayers' money, you're doing all this, like the taxpayers should have more say-so in what happens, right? Well, what do taxpayers do? They vote.
Right.
So what if the fans were allowed to vote on decisions that were made for these teams, like every 4 years? Not saying every intricate little decision, because that would be stupid. But like, say a coach has been here for 4 years and he hasn't seen the product. Like, there should be an option, or it should be like an election. Like, there should be an option to where he can be challenged for his position. You have other candidates, other guys who may be interested in it. I think the people should be allowed to vote. Like, vote for your next coach. So that way you got to live and die with the decision that you made. Like, if you voted for the motherfucker and he's terrible, you made that decision. If you keep him on and he's good, whatever. Like, the fans need more input. And y'all can tell it's getting boring out there in the sports world when you start thinking of crazy shit to try to figure out how you could legitimately get rid of your head coach. But I know that shit will never happen. But I think the fans should have more input as far as how these teams are ran, especially if they get benefit of.
You drive a good point, especially when you reach a certain level of mediocrity. Like, I think that if you have you should give, the organization the opportunity to hire. And once they make their hire, if the head coach is below or barely above 500, basically in that either terrible or mediocre range after a couple years, and they have not got fired, we should have the option to vote on them. I agree with that 100%. Yeah. I agree with 100%. And even because you won't have this type of message. Because trust me, Bill O'Brien was a bit gone. We was able to vote him out.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I think even if you want to be cautious, because you're like, well, people could come in and troll. They may not be really fans. Even if you just let the season ticket holders do it, because they have a vested interest in the team by spending that money. You could say, all right, well, let them do it. If you like, when you having that little crazy conference call that they had. Side eye, appreciate the love, man. Appreciate that. At the dancing JJ, but like, even if you do something like that, or you come up with a system again, like I said, maybe you have to register or whatever it may be, but like there has to be a way. Like, the fans should have more input into these teams, because the teams are benefiting off, like I said, off taxpayer money. A lot of these places, and look, if my money's going towards something, like, I should have some say so. And then the time and people buying jerseys and buying merchandise and all, like, you should have more say so. You shouldn't just be at the whim of some dictator, some fucking overlord, some butt chin bastard who just thinks he knows it all and is really deteriorating your team in front of your face. And here's the thing, like, and it's so crazy because we're finna get into it. I know y'all want to talk position E. It's just so crazy because even if you get rid of him, he's like, it's set up so poorly that even if you get rid of him, you're still in a bad position. Like, you went from, I wouldn't say playoff, but you went from having a chance to make it to the AFC Championship in that first quarter, all the way to basically looking like a fucking rebuild team. Like, and you
basically are.
Yeah,
and
I don't.
This really win.
I don't understand how you do that. Like, in a matter of months, and I mean, you had a lot of top tier talent in the most important positions. You could say you had a top D lineman, and however y'all want to still look at JJ, it's going to be hit or miss depending on who you asking. But D Reader was a top D lineman. That's a known fact. Hopkins, top receiver. Deshaun Watson, top quarterback. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying number one at each of these positions. We're just saying, in the league, they're viewed as some of the better players. Laramie Tunsil, top offensive lineman, offensive tackle. And John Weeks, top long snapper. But, my thing is just like, how do you go from being in a position where you have all this talent to now looking like you let two of those positions just walk for basically nothing, even though you traded Hobby, you got nothing for him.
Virtually. And did you see what they did? Speaking of season ticket holders, you seen what they did with them?
What's that?
Like, they think they slick because they're trying to use the COVID as the reason why, but apparently, like, I guess, like, the deadline for them to pay up for the season tickets was coming up, so they extended it. They don't have to pay it in full right now, And basically, they're saying the reason why is because of the COVID and things like that. That's bull. It's because so many people been trying to cancel their season tickets.
Yeah.
They trying to bleed this as long as they can, so fans can start coming around. Like, okay, it's been so the season getting close. We're gonna be fired up about the Texans again. We didn't have the draft and stuff like that. They think they slick. They trying to pull a legit mind trick on season ticket holders fans.
Yeah.
But it's not happening. Like, the real people understand, like, you know good football from bad football. Because if they were forcing people that they had to finish paying their season tickets by ever the deadline was, people weren't going to pay it.
Correct.
And they would have been losing money. Correct. So they extended it and not blamed it, but saying, we're doing this because of the COVID-19. Nah, y'all doing this because y'all had so much backlash. And apparently the whole conference call that they did a week ago still didn't vote well. Like, fans gladly are still upset. Like, I'm proud of you fans. If y'all some season ticket holders in here, I'm so proud of y'all. I'm proud.
And that's my thing too. And you know, y'all know how we've been around this way on this side of the YouTube, on this side of Texans, the Texans Tubers. And again, y'all know where Texans Tuber, that terminology started. If they ain't fucking with the sauce, they might not be a Texans Tuber. That's all I'm saying. You know, people like to take your phrases and run with them. Huh?
Or round tables.
Round table. Yeah, we know, y'all know where these terms started. Y'all know where a lot of this talk started, you know, when nobody else was saying these kind of things and nobody was giving y'all these avenues to say these kind of things and perform this kind of way. Y'all know where it started. We ain't finna, you know, pat ourselves on the back or anything like that. But it's funny how you see the rest of the South looking like us.
And you know what? And they're going to be doing the draft the way that we conduct our videos all the time. Yeah. like we've been on this boat. Like, y'all way back. Y'all just now hopping on.
That's what I'm saying. And that's the crazy thing about it. Cause if you see any kind of shows or anything now they look like what we've been doing for years now. You know what I'm saying? Like, welcome. You know what I'm saying? We was ahead of the game, man. Shout out to Tiger, Texan Roughneck, man. But
what's up, man?
That's what I'm saying. It's just like, it's so funny how what it has been all this time, when the motherfuckers hating and knocking and you know, all the little low key subtle shit. Now they doing what we've been doing, and it's very amusing. I ain't even mad. Like, at this point, who cares, man? You know what I'm saying? You know, here's my deal though. Here's my deal, and let's kind of get into it. You know what I'm saying? And we're gonna be a little bit shorter today. Like I said, I gotta drag about 6:45. So let's go ahead and get into the conversation. I want to talk about the biggest positions in need, and again, you know, making a joke about head coach and owner and GM and all that. Real quick, did you see two things that made me upset? I want to talk about this because we didn't do a Texan sauce yesterday. Did you see the Bleacher Report skit about Bill O'Brien?
Spot on.
Yeah. And then the funny thing about that Bleacher Report skit is then the same day, Deshaun Watson, Hopkins, Fuller, all over there on the live. Like, so I thought that was extremely funny. But that goes to show, and people gonna be like, oh, well, Fuller, Hopkins going to get over it. No, because that shows that all them dudes were a close-knit unit, right? A close-knit unit. Right. And then your coach, because of some presumed fear of leadership, is willing to break up a unit. These dudes practice with each other. They hang out. Like, so that means, what do you think they doing when they hanging out? They talking football. This is their job. This is their profession. Like, 24/7. It's a lot of motherfuckers that play together can't stand each other. I mean, look at the relationship between AB and Roethlisberger and Juju. You know what I'm saying? Like, they not kicking it like that. Everybody had their own. Well, Juju was probably trying to, but you know, AB had his own deal going on. Roethlisberger got his own deal. Like, you can't buy that chemistry. But for some reason, you want to throw that shit away.
I put in the layman terms that people understand. Think about everybody that you work with. You don't get along with everybody that you work with. And it's probably somebody that you work with is a complete ass that you can't stand. But you know they're good at their job. Like, damn, I can't stand this motherfucker. But ain't no doubt he good at what he do, and he helped this. Like, you know, he helped wherever your business, whatever it is you do, run the way it's supposed to run because he's good where he does. But he's an asshole. You can't stand him. You would never chill with him after work. These guys in the off season, they are extremely close, and especially for two receivers and a quarterback, that's something, that cohesion is something that you're gonna need, because it shows on the field who he looks to when the chips is down. Yeah. He looks at 10 and 15. He don't go nowhere else.
Correct. That's who he has trust. That's who he has faith. That's who he has chemistry. Appreciate the love, Footballer 503. And like you said, that you can't build that that and on the low key, maybe I was tripping, but did Deshaun look like he was a little sad, like he kind of felt a little left out, like, oh man, y'all niggas working out without me, man?
because he said, because I actually watched it live,
Yeah.
like I forgot what I was doing on my phone.
Yeah.
And it popped up that Hopkins was on live. I said, "Let's see what Hop do." I thought maybe he's out in Arizona tripping or some shit.
Yeah.
And he was at the time he was talking to Tywan Jones.
Yeah.
And when as soon as Tywan Jones hopped out, I seen Fuller looked in the camera. I said, "Hey," I didn't even recognize him at first. He had the do-rag on, looking straight, like he straight looked hood. I didn't know who he was. And then he says, then like he said, hey, Defoe trying to hop in, and then he clicks him in, and the way Deshaun look, he say, "Man, where y'all at?" He's like, "Oh man, we in Houston."
Yeah.
"Oh bro, why you ain't get me?" Like,
talk about riding bikes and shit. That's what I'm telling you.
Yeah.
That's some old kicking it type shit. And look, Hopkins must have been an H for him. He sounds straight like a straight H-town nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like, goddamn, this nigga Hopkins, you supposed to be a Carolina boy. You sound like a nigga straight up out the city, man.
and he said he ain't going nowhere because Tywan Jones asked him how long he gonna be in Houston. He said, "I'm not going nowhere."
Yeah.
So evidently, more likely gonna keep his house.
Yeah.
Because I mean, everybody fuck with the scene. Like I say,
Yeah.
I think Hop really fools with the city of Houston.
Yeah.
So.
Man, you got you still got Dre out here, because I remember Dre had got something from like the Turkey Leg Hut or something, and I think Hopkins commented on this shit, and he was like, "Man, you supposed to be over here," you know what I'm saying? Like, and that's what I'm saying. Like, that's that unity and closeness, and O'Brien can't tell. I feel like that ego feel like he getting usurped or something. Like he feel like his power getting taken over, so he can't stand. He got a voice in his head. Everybody got a voice in their head, but you're supposed to check that voice. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think Bill O'Brien's voice is taken over and is in control now. Like he no longer controls himself. It's something.
like the skid said, you can't control what the GM does. He's like, "You're the GM."
Yeah.
I know, I can't control.
That shit, hey, it's me, Bill O'Brien. That fucking Belichick. They went in on that, and then you seen the burner account get mad. "This is not funny. You guys got to take it down." Like, come on, Bill. All right, we know it's you, Bill O'Burner. Man, we got 30 likes, man. We got 89 people. Hit that like button.
The part that had me rolling was when Will Fuller kept on trying to hop on the car, man. Kept on.
Yeah, they did Will bad on it. Man. So here's the deal. Let's get into it though, man. Like I said, man, if y'all hadn't seen that Bleach Report shit, that shit is funny. If y'all hadn't seen the video of Watson and Hopkins and Fuller on the live, like, it's heartbreaking. It makes you real sad, but it just shows you what this coach is willing to break up and what's best for the. And I have to shout out Spitz video. What's best for the capital T, capital E, capital A, capital M team. But let's get into it, man. Positions in E. And so, like I said, you broke it down on the video. Like I said, you had your draft position. And if I'm not going to spill it, but if I'm assuming, by the draft position, what are your thoughts, man? What at this point is the biggest single position of need for this team?
Wow, shout out without the moment that you trade Hopkins, receiver became your number one position in need. Y'all know I've been harping about cornerbacks for 3 years now because there's still something that you have not fixed properly. But people were out here arguing that receiver was a position in need before you even got rid of Hop because of the injury history of Will Fuller. So now people talking about taking a receiver later on in the draft. So now that you get rid of Hop, now you're deployed of a number one. That just catapults it just makes that position even stronger. And even if Fuller plays a full season, Fuller and Steels are both only have 1 year left on their deal. In the year where you have Tunsil coming up, you're going to give Deshaun the extension, and also Zach Cunningham, something that we don't talk about. Zach Cunningham is in the last year of his deal as well. You're not going to be able to bring back both Fuller and Steels. Like, it is highly unlikely that you're going to be able to re-sign all these guys. Even in the perfect world, even if you have a competent GM and it makes right decisions, it's highly unlikely that you're going to bring back all those guys unless people really take discounts and pay cuts. So you're going to have to start replacing their receiver room. So that's why receiver is the number one need going to this draft.
And I 100% agree with you, man. Like you said, I mean, at that moment, which is dumb, because you created an unnecessary position of need on this team where you had the best possible person to fill that role. Like we talk about chemistry, we talk about talent, we talk about knowledge of offense, we can talk about, anything that you want to put there as far as it checks off all boxes. Off the field issues, none. You try to fabricate something to make something up about the man having a problem. There's nothing that you can strike it, but instead you go and create a problem, and now you have to fix that problem. So, say they go receiver, and receiver does not pan out for them. Does that put a bigger stain on what Bill O'Brien has done? Say if they go and get a guy and he doesn't show up. I mean, you got to give him a year or two. You can't expect necessarily a rookie to come out, especially if you don't have a first round pick. But does that make the situation even worse, or does it heal the wound by at least he's attempting to fill that void by picking up a receiver if they go receiver?
No, I mean, there's nothing that's going to make Bill O'Brien. The only thing that can make Bill O'Brien look correct. The only thing is if Hop falls off and David Johnson is all pro running back. That's the only thing that can make Bill O'Brien look good in this situation. Like that he got rid of Hop when he got rid of Hop and was able to bring in somebody to replace as far as another position, and then also whoever you draft is a competent receiver. That's the only thing, and I don't see. Only thing that I see happening is that you could bring in a competent receiver, because I don't think Hop is going to fall off, and I have zero faith that David Johnson is going to do anything of note positively for the Houston Texans. I don't think he's going to do anything good as far as running and receiving. That's just my personal opinion. Like I said, I watch him; he just can't run to me. So I'm not too high on what David Johnson can bring to the conversation. It's going to make Bill O'Brien look bad pretty much regardless. And I think that Bill O'Brien might be a victim of his own. I know you said the voice in his head, but just his own wants. Because I think he went to the combine and seen all these receivers run fast, and he's like, okay, cool, we can get rid of Hopkins because we can easily replace. Because this receiver this class is deep. It's deeper than what people actually give it. It is deeper than what people are actually giving it real credit for. Like, you can get real receivers late in this draft. Like, this draft is extremely deep, and I think that's going to mess with people, because just because the receiving class is deep does not mean these guys are going to transition into the NFL when you already have the best. It'd be different if you had somebody that was teetering, like they decent, but when you have the best, you can't go surpass the best.
Exactly. And that's my thing. And then also with that is just like, again, you're starting from scratch. D4 having to get familiar with these guys, knowing that even Bill O'Brien said himself that he feels like this offseason, the OTAs and all, it's going to be short. So no rookie OTAs. It's going to be a lot of issues as far as them learning how to become professionals. So a lot of those meetings and things they generally have for the rookies, that's going to be cut short, because they're going to try to force this season as much as they can, if they can, because the NFL don't want to lose any money. So
I don't want to hear no excuse, because all 32 teams are dealing with that. So I don't want to hear that we ain't have no OTAs, so neither did nobody else.
Exactly.
So I don't want to hear that as an excuse.
Exactly. And so, like I say, it's going to be interesting. But, you said it's real deep. But how many of these guys are good character guys? Are we talking these receivers? Are they all good character guys? I mean, don't let them, if they were late for class ever, or, they're having sex in college. That's a no-go for Bill O'Brien. So we can't go, you out there having girlfriends? Oh, no, we can't do that. That's not the Texans' way.
Maybe more so it's not a no-go for Bill O'Brien, but it's more so a no-go for Jack, whatever his name is, Jack Easterby.
Oh, yes, the character guy. The character guy who became vice president.
He's the character's coach. And when he was a chaplain in New England in Kansas City. So maybe he's the one that has the real issues with the whole baby mama situation.
That would be crazy if he is that guy. Like, if it's because of him, and that's what Bill O'Brien's listening to. Like I say, I feel like it's too much on Billy O's plate, and it kind of is.
So I tell you, it's a cult.
Man,
it's a cult.
It's a terrible cult. It's the worst cult. Like, should at least make some progress, do something. Okay, so let's throw a name out there. So, you said it's a deep draft, and again, you said there's a lot of talent out there. Give me a name or two as far as the receivers that you would find ideal at the spot where the Texans are picking at number 40 to address that position of need.
Okay. I really like Denzel Mims. I think he's a guy who's he's a receiver out of Baylor, 6'3", 207 pounds. Fast. He ran a 4.38, and that's the same speed that Kenny Stills ran. So he's a guy who can go outside, who can catch a guy you can throw to downfield. He makes circus sideline catches, kind of similar to Hop. he needs to work on his route running some. Like his route running is not as crisp. But because he doesn't run that top end speed on every single route, so he needs to work on that. I think if you get him, you definitely need to have Andre Johnson in the building to help him with his routes. Brandon Ayuk, receiver out of Arizona State, I think is a bona fide future #1 receiver. He's a playmaker. Like that's just really what he does. He makes plays. He gets the ball and he gets yards after the catch. Like he's a dangerous guy. Michael Pittman Jr. out of USC, a big frame guy. He's 6'4". The thing about him is that Tim Kelly is going to have some good offensive sets because he might have to start coaching him open. He doesn't get good separation by himself. You're going to have to probably coach and scheme him open somewhat, but he is a big target, long and rangy, and also the son of Michael Pittman, who played for running back for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers back in the early 2000s. Yeah. So those are guys that will be there around that pick. I know a lot of people think about T. Higgins. I think T. Higgins as my second wave of receivers outside, the CeeDee Lambs and the Judys that they're going in the first round. I have T. Higgins rated above all of them. I'm not above CeeDee Lamb and them. I have him right under CeeDee Lamb and Jerry Jeudy. I just don't think T. Higgins is going to be there at pick 40. I think T. Higgins is going to be a late first round pick. I don't think he's going to be there to you at pick 40, but I think he would be an exceptional player. Another guy who's 6'4". Come out of Clemson, and I think that might be a black mark because I don't think Bill O'Brien wants any more Clemson guys, to be honest with you. But I think that would be a guy who would have a lot of good chemistry with Deshaun Watson because of the whole college that they know each other, even though they didn't play with each other with Clemson. Deshaun goes to Clemson. Yeah. He talks to Cap. Yeah, exactly. That's how they knew each other. They didn't play with each other, but they the people that goes to your school. You go and look at the younger classmen, especially if you have a good relationship with Dabo. Correct. Dabo, what you think about him? And Deshaun, this guy's this is a nice receiver. Hop, Deshaun, he's going to be the best quarterback come out to school. So these guys have a rapport with these guys, even though they didn't play with them directly, but they have a familiarity with them, and that chemistry is probably already pre-built.
And what is interesting, what you were talking about, the guy, the 6'4" guy, the Pittman, I believe you said, and
Pittman.
And I find it. I wonder, and I know he said he didn't want to be a day-to-day guy, but it'd be interesting if, and because he's still around, if Andre, maybe has a chance to get hands-on with some of these younger guys who could use some molding, because that's the only way anybody's going to develop around here. Because we've talked about this a million times before, that the Texans coaching staff, as far as the position coaches they don't develop anything really well outside of the first round. You say defensively, a couple players in the second, maybe third round. Who the fuck is calling on a goddamn landline? So, hold on. So, God damn it. Give me 1 second. There better not be no goddamn television. Yeah, nigga still got a landline. I don't want to hear nobody say shit about it either. But like I said, that's the only way we're going to get some real development around these parts. But let's kind of move on. Like I said, 'cause we got a limited amount of time. I want to get your thoughts now. Second biggest position in need, and I'm feeling like it's definitely on the defensive side of the ball. I think you could kind of go either way. I'm still having some questions about the corner group, but I'm thinking more on the line because, again, like I said, you've lost some talent. JJ's getting up there. And I think that with them bringing back pretty much the corners we ended the season with, it almost makes me feel like they're comfortable with what they had. What are your thoughts on the next biggest position in need for this Texans team?
It's cornerback. I don't even know why you even asked me that. It's the cornerback group. I've been hollering about this for 3 to 4 years. You did absolutely, in my opinion, you done nothing, because the only thing you did was bring back the same guys that was on the field when you was up 24-0, and they let that lead slip to 41 straight points on way to giving up 51 points in a divisional round game, and that's the guys you're going to roll in with the whole season with. So, in my personal opinion, you've done nothing. And if it wasn't for the trade of Hopkins, that would be your number one need.
Yeah. Okay. And I see somebody saying that Dre developed Hop. I'd give Dre credit. I think Hop was going to be good no matter what. I think Dre showed him how to be a professional. But I think Hop had all the pieces already there. I think Dre just helped him kind of take it a little bit to the next level. I think Hop would have been that dude either way.
Hop had intangibles and Hop had skills, because that's one thing going into the draft. Hop had, I think, when they used to do the sports science on ESPN, Hop had the most consecutive one-handed catches. This is before he was drafted, but Dre taught him the nuances of the when you run your route to do this to get the separation, when you to do this right here, because Andre used to say all the time that when they got there, he used to just say, why don't you just throw it up, because that's what they did at Clemson, just throw 50-50 balls. So why don't they just throw it up? I'll get it, just throw it up. You can't just throw it up every play. So he did help Hop develop and take his game to another level. I think Hop, even without Dre, would still be a bona fide number one receiver. I don't know if he would be to the caliber that he is. I think he does owe Dre some credit for how he's regarded and respected as the number one receiver, if not number two, if not number one receiver in the NFL. I think that has something to do with Dre. But I do think that Hop would have been a monster by himself. But Dre got him over that hump to be, okay, you are at the very least top two, considered across the board. You a top two receiver in the NFL. And I think that has something to do with Dre. And I think that tutelage, remember, he was with Dre for 2 years, day after day. If I'm not mistaken, they roomed together during training camp. So he was under Dre's profession, and also seeing how Dre suffered going, and that's nothing too. He's seen how Dre suffered in the beginning of his career and things like that.
It's too much sauce.
Yes, the landline is going on. Appreciate the love, Houston, Texas Talk. O'Brien wants Chase case closed. O'Brien wants a lot of stuff, and with him, the case is never closed because nobody knows. I don't think O'Brien knows what O'Brien's going to do at this point, and it's unfortunate. But and I agree with you on that. And Hop is going to be fortunate to be able to be under the tutelage of two of the greatest to ever play the game, especially in this era, and that's being with Andre and Larry Legend. So. That is definitely something I think you got to cherish. He's probably going to be, when it's all said and done, he's going to have an outstanding legacy. Unfortunately, they probably won't be with the Houston Texans. But going back to
he gonna put up monster numbers being over there with Cliff Kingsbury.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's gonna be foolish, and we're gonna sit here and everybody who justified it. And here's my thing: at this point too, if you still ride with O'Brien, you're tied to that. It ain't no jumping off the O'Brien train. If after the Hop move, you still rocking with O'Brien, you're officially tied to him. So whatever he does, if you can't jump, you can't get on the fuck O'Brien bandwagon. It's full. After that move, if you're trying to jump ship, you're done. You know what I'm saying? You own that. You got to own that. But talking about corners, so is there some young corners that you seeing in the draft that you think would be interesting that may fall to the Texans or
yes. Like I said, the cornerback group is it's a lot of people talking about the receiving group, talking about how deep the receiving group is, and it is. The cornerback group is just as deep. But you got Trayvon Diggs, corner out of Alabama. He's a big, long guy, 6'2", 205 pounds, who has a long reach. Even on plays that he's got beaten on, his reach is so long he can get through and knock the ball out because he has just a long reach. He used to play wide receiver. Before he was positioned at cornerback. Jeff Gonley out of TCU, a guy who's just a straight up ball hawk. He gets his hands on the football at all times. Every time you see him, he's getting his hands on the football. If it's not an interception, it's a knockdown. He's this absolute ball hawk. You got Damon Arnett out of Ohio State, guy who's very technically sound, great at jamming off the line of scrimmage, who can play inside, outside, play in the slot, play on the outside. Played with one hand basically all year because he had a cast on his hand. He's a guy that's technically sound. Christian Fulton out of the LSU. Another guy who has good hands, is able to get a lot of pass breakups. Just always following the receiver around. I know a lot of people out there in Clemson like AJ Terrell. I kind of was upset AJ Terrell when he played against LSU in the national championship game, because when you're going up against Joe Burrow and Justin Jefferson and all those NFL type guys who are going to be that you're going to see on the next level, he struggled a little bit in the national championship game. He had a good season all year, but that national championship game was really it was a bad showing against a guy who's a Heisman Trophy winner, who's going to be the #1 pick in the draft, and Burrow and the other NFL talent on the receiving end. That doesn't look well, because that's somebody that's people you're going to see week in and week out on the next level. So that's a little bit of concern, but I know there's a lot of people out there like AJ Terrell as well.
Appreciate the love, Houston Texans talk, and DeMarcus. Look, for Tito want that paper, you're gonna have to catch that square, man. That's just how that's gonna go. Look, that's probably them calling shit. Fuck 'em. O'Brien is the greatest GM head coach combo. Yeah, he's the greatest GM head coach combo the Texans have ever had. I could give you that. That's not saying a whole lot, but you know, that's very unfortunate. You know what I'm saying, that we still stuck with that. Okay, so that's interesting. Now, about what's his name? You know, when you say that he didn't show up well in the big game, do you think that translates to the big stage, like as a pro? You know, because that's the big stage every week. You know what I'm saying? So do you think it was a one-off thing? Or do you think that, you know, that could be a sign of something bigger?
I mean, it could be, because he did play well in the national championship game against Bama the year before, and you know that's a lot of NFL talent. I'm not saying that he folded under the pressure. I'm just saying that's just not a good look when you play. He plays in the ACC, which is known as is not that strong of a conference off top, and then when you go up against a guy who's a Heisman, who wins the Heisman, who is going to be the #1 overall pick, and he has NFL talent around him, and you have your worst showing. It'd be different if he had an okay showing. That was his worst showing. That just doesn't. And also that's the last game we seen you. It's the last game that we seen you in. It's your worst game, and it's against NFL, a lot of NFL talent. It's going to raise up some red flags. It just is. It's going to raise some red flags. Like, can I trust you in the big game? But it could just be a one-off. I mean, everybody's entitled to having a bad game. Everybody has a bad game. So I'm just saying that there's other directions that you can go, and I'm just saying that just wasn't a good look for him.
Yeah, yes, Asmel, I know it's you, but I'm calling you by the name that's on the screen. But appreciate the love. But so here's my thing, you know, and like I said, I have a concern, and my thing is too, when you come into the draft, because the draft allows you to fill positions for the next, you know, 3, 4, 5 years, hopefully, if you're, you know, on the money with your picks. They go and sign, I can't never remember his name, my buddy from the Eagles.
Tim
Jenigan?
Jernigan,
yeah, I can say.
Yeah.
I'm thinking Jennings and some other bullshit. But, you know, and then they go and sign him.
He's a solid run stop.
1 year guy. But then what are you looking at, you know, again, so that means if you have him for 1 year, you're getting another year out of JJ. You paying what, 15 this year, 17 this year, something like that?
15. JJ has the highest cap. He's 15.
Okay, so you got 15, little Timmy, 15, and then again, so then you're gonna be paying him a little bit more next year, and then you have to go out and try to find some more line help. Have you seen anybody coming up through the college ranks that's entering the draft that you find interesting, you know, on that defensive line? Do you see anybody that may be able to fill the void that Reader left for, you know, the next few years to come?
So you talking about offensive line? I mean, offensive line. You talking about guys who are going to play on the line, or guys who can play outside linebacker?
Guys on the line. More so
okay, I mean, you on the line. I mean, you got Jabari Zuniga out of Florida, who's a guy who's, to me, he reminds me of Michael Strahan. It could be because he's wearing number 92, but he reminds me of Michael Strahan. He's not as tall as Michael Strahan, but he's fast. He ran the 4.64, and he's 264 pounds, 6'3". He can stop the run. He lives in the backfield, can stop the run, can also get to the quarterback as well. He kind of tails off on tape a little bit. I think he would definitely need to learn how to be a pro from both JJ and also Anthony Weaver, a former defensive lineman, former defensive line coach, now defensive coordinator. Those guys are going to have to mentor him to get him on track, because the talent is there. Like the talent and the size there. A strong guy, like I say, lives in the backfield. Then you also got Bradley Bradley Arnett out of Utah. High motor guy, like a guy who has he has extremely high motor. Never takes plays off. He's a guy that I definitely you can get later on in the draft. Not all that athletic, but that high motor will cause you to get plays that you're not supposed to get because you've never taken the play off. You're always looking for a competitive edge. You know, him and JJ act like they both on speed. The way they motors are both high and just running around. Then you got Curtis Weaver out of Boise State last year. I think he led either the FBS and sacks, and I think he's the all-time sack leader for his conference. He's a guy who definitely benefits a lot from he definitely benefits a lot from getting from other people getting pressure. And he's able to clean up the mess. He needs to get off the blocks a little bit faster. He comes off a little bit slow, and his weight is kind of up and down. And then you have Jonathan Gennard out of Florida. He plays D line. I think he's better suited to play outside linebacker. But no, he's 6'3", 263 pounds. He's a strong guy as well. And he has natural pass rushing moves. Like he's a natural pass rusher. Might be the outside of Chase Young, who's going to go number 2 in the draft. He's probably the best natural pass rusher. He has moves that it takes veterans time to learn. His game is already polished from a pass rushing standpoint already before he even gets into the league.
Okay. And I apologize, y'all, whoever the fuck been calling Mike Strahan TSU legend. But here's my thing, man. No, it does look like that. I just not see what you're talking about because the way I'm sitting here, it look like Deshaun. Like I'm throwing up the horns, but that's Deshaun. But yeah, my thing is this, man, and I'm gonna be front with y'all because, like I said, we're gonna have to slide here in just a couple of minutes. So I'm sorry, it's gonna be a little short, but here's the deal, y'all. First, shout out to Spitz for doing his due diligence. And again, I tell y'all, if y'all want mock drafts for me, y'all want college scouting, don't hold your breath. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm just not going. I'm gonna be honest. Like I'm just not gonna give it to you. So make sure, like I say, Spitz has been dropping videos damn near daily. So make sure you checking those out because he's doing an extensive breakdown on every position and where the Texans can improve. And he actually just recently did a mock draft. So make sure you watch that immediately after the stream. If you don't know how to get to Spitz's channel, the link is in the description below. The whole roundtable is in the description below. Or if not, on the main page, like that little recommended channels on the side is definitely over there. But here's the deal, y'all, and it's gonna be like this. I know it's tough to talk about the Texans. I get depressed, and I'm not bullshit. I get I just get this feeling over when we start talking Texans, and so I know that these last few weeks has been tough because knowing that you got to go in, it's like you said, like we go make a work reference. Like you got to go in and deal with that boss. You're more competent than that boss. You know that you could probably easily do his job, but for some reason he gets the credit. He gets all the recognition for your hard work or whatever it may be. That's Bill O'Brien. He takes all the credit for the players' talent and their hard work, and he's benefiting off of it, and people are really thinking that he's better than what he is. And I just get frustrated watching it. But we're not gonna let that stop the flow. Working on a couple of things in the background. It may take a couple of days, it may take a week or so. But we're gonna get back to some of that original sauce, the things that made these conversations great, the things that how it originally started. And I ain't finna do. It ain't gonna be like the original 17-0, what was 19-0 video or whatever it was, 17-19, it was 27 to 19-0 in 2017, something like that, or 16-0. I don't know what I said. But we're gonna start giving you that flavor back because I know it only makes it worse. I know we're negative and not negative, but factual, and people take it as negativity. But it makes you feel negative. So I don't want to be in here feeling drab. I know Spitz don't. I know the round table don't. We want to feel good about chopping it up with y'all. So like I said, we're gonna be remixing a little bit of the flavor, doing some things here, but we're gonna make sure we can bring y'all plenty of content. I appreciate everybody who's definitely been supporting along the way. Spitz, man, anything you got you want to say before we get ready to slide out of here, man?
Man, once again, great video. glad to do it with y'all. Go check out the video I did. Like I said, I broke down all these position groups. I got even more names that I mentioned. I didn't want to mention everybody, but I got position groups on receivers and edge rushers and running backs and also corners. And then also I did, like I said, I did a mock draft video. So y'all go check out where I got these guys ranked and also where I got who I have the Texans selected with their picks coming this April. But I want to ask you a question because this is a conversation that we talked about. This is before the Hopkins trade. We were talking about Will Fuller, and we were talking about how what would it take for you for Will Fuller to garner a contract? And like I said, his contract is up. If Will Fuller, say we get to week 8, say Will Fuller hasn't missed a game yet, and just say that he's the number one receiver because by default he's going to be the number one receiver going into the season. Even no matter who you draft, he's going to be week 1. He's going to be the number one receiver. So by week 8, say Fuller's killing the game. Say he has between 800 and 900 yards, 6 to 7 touchdowns, hasn't missed a game yet in the first 8 games of the season. Would you give him an extension then, or would you wait to see how the season ended?
Just knowing Fuller in his history, I'd have to wait till how the season ended. I mean, I just have to. Like, and I understand, like, keeping an asset there, you probably get a better price from him then and there, especially if things are going good. But
yeah, because think about this, he's in a very interesting situation because not only did he do the workout with Hop, he posted another video on his live that he was like, this is like 5:00 in the morning. He was out doing lunges somewhere in some stadium. I don't know if it was U of H or if it was Rice Stadium where he was at, but he was out there doing lunges all on the track at 5:30 this morning, and he knows that he has a huge opportunity because not only is it his contract year, he's also going to be the number one target. Sure. And that's very rare that somebody gets the bulk of their carries or catches in their contract year for the first time. So it's going to be his contract year, and it's going to be the first time that he's the number one primary target for Deshaun. So his numbers are going to be increased anyway. Even if it wasn't a contract year, his numbers are going to be increased because he's going to be the primary target. Now you add extra motivation because we already know it's not talent with Fuller. Fuller has all the talent. Yeah. He has his hands have under Deshaun. His hands have vastly improved. We know when it comes to speed, outside Tyreek Hill, he's second to nobody. Like we know exactly what he can do on the football field. The thing about Fuller is staying healthy, and with him being the primary target, being with Deshaun Watson and being the contract year, he could set himself up to actually get a nice chunk of change. And the thing is, do you want to get that for? Because do you want him to get to the end of the season and he's an all-pro type receiver, Pro Bowl type receiver? Now that premium is going to go up because if you don't pay, trust and believe somebody will blow that market sky high.
Oh yeah, even if he just stays healthy this year. And even if I think if he's just good enough, somebody's going to pay, period, because they know how he can change an offense, especially if you pair him with someone else that, is a solid receiver. So, and I get what you're saying. But again,
let him go to Arizona with Cliff Kingsbury.
Do you understand how mad I would be if Fuller and Hop ended up in Arizona? Man, I'm going to ride. We're going to have to ride. I mean, it is what it is. We'll mask up. But all bullshit to the side, man. Like, I like Will. And to me, like I say, if I was in the position, I feel like I would wait. But if you, like you say, if you let him go there, then it's just like, nah, nigga, fuck y'all. You know what I'm saying? I'm finna get paid. You know what I'm saying? And so, to me, and here's where everything's fucked up.
You don't know if you be able to use the franchise tag because you might have to use that on Tunsil.
Exactly.
Because Tunsil is and Zach Cunningham is going to be open.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, people got to realize you're going to lose money because we were talking about the other day. Like, Zach, people be sleeping on Zach. Zach was the lead tackler in the AFC last year, and just quietly doing it like nobody was paying attention.
If y'all believe that, if anybody out there believe that Rita deserved the bag, Cunningham deserves that times 10. Yeah. Cunningham is going to be an All-Pro this year. I guarantee you that. Yeah.
Zach's a motherfucking fool because Zach had it when you could see the potential when Zach got drafted, like because he was on go, like, oh, he's a weirdo, but he was always on go.
And he also plays a position where he can get more tackles because he's coming from a linebacker position. He doesn't have to fight through the line like Rita does.
Exactly.
Like Rita's a guy who can push the pocket. he's the guy. Zach Clem is the guy who's going to pile up stats.
Exactly. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like, either way it goes, man, the talent on this team, if they don't have a successful draft this year, you're going to be hemorrhaging talent. Like, it's you got a lot going on, and you didn't want to pay Hop, who was probably the most talented out of all of these guys, because you want to make sure you maintain, Watson had money for Watson, had money for Tunsil. Shit. Like, how you going to pay anybody else? Because, again, like you said, if Will balls out, he's going to get, what, you just paid Amari 20. You pay, who else? Somebody else just got 20. Who was it? I'm not saying he's, I'm not saying he on, what was it, Thomas? Did Thomas get paid 20? Who else? Somebody.
Yeah, because Thomas was the highest paid receiver before. Was the highest paid receiver before Amari Cooper. So yeah, he's in that range. Okay. Like if Fuller balls out, Fuller gonna get every bit of 15, 16.
Yeah, easily, and that's what I'm saying. I think he gets more than that because he gonna pull the same move. They know that the salary cap is getting higher, so they gonna get their money for it. You only can negotiate these contracts, every few years, so they gonna think, they gonna future proof it, so they gonna make sure they get their money. You're gonna have to pay. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I'm saying. You have to pay him, like you said. You have to pay Zach, so you're gonna lose some more talent because if you thinking you got to bet the house on Tunsil and Deshaun. Yeah, I got to stop. But it's like I said, it's gonna be. I think it's gonna get uglier before it gets better. But here's my thing: where I say I'd almost wish that Fuller would go again to make Bill O'Brien have to keep it. But it's because Deshaun and O'Brien are glued together, basically. You know what I mean? And it makes me upset because if anything that negatively impacts O'Brien, basically negatively impacts Deshaun too. You know what I mean? And and I hate it because again, when you talk about greats, the greats. Always had a great quarterback, great receiver. Now you've taken that from him, so you put him in a worse position. And I know people say, "Well, he's still Deshaun Watson. He can make everybody look." Yeah, that's cool. But again, the greats made other people look good, but they had that one guy that they took with and they elevated and went to the next level. That's where they won Super Bowls with. That's where they solidified their legacy with.
You tell Montana like, "Hey, I'm taking away Rice." Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Like yeah,
you tell Brady, "Hey, I'm taking Gronk away. You ain't gonna have Gronk."
Exactly, but it is what it is. That's basically what you just did. And then, but the thing about it too is also those great QBs, those great players always had that great coach associated with it. So O'Brien is trying to he's latched himself on, he's leached on to Deshaun and what Deshaun is capable of doing. And so now like his legacy is going to be married to that because Kyle ain't finna do shit. Ain't shit finna change around here. And it's gonna get me on another tangent, but I really got to slide. But man, Mr. Spitz, I appreciate you coming through. We'll be on Soft Sports TV tomorrow, making some Discord action in pretty soon too. So if you're in the Patreon, excuse me, if you're in the Discord, we'll probably have maybe midday tomorrow. Try to have something going on to talk about a couple of things. I told you I was going to be testing out, trying to do live in the Discord. If you want to become a part of that, you join the Patreon, patreon.com/softsports at the $5 tier or higher to get the link to join the Discord. It's great conversation. Like I said, we're going to get that back active. Like I said, we're going to really bring you all the sauce. We're not going to let the rest of this bullshit get us down, the lack of sport. It's not about not having, there's plenty of content. So don't let anybody fool you. Like, there's plenty of stuff to talk about. It's just the Texans put you in a mood that you almost don't want to fucking talk about it because of where it goes. But with that being said, Mr. Spitz, I appreciate you. Shout out to the rest of the roundtable. Sauce Nation, shout out to all y'all. I ain't get the little intro in, but I got a cha-cha slide, and we'll catch y'all. Man, y'all hit that like button for y'all get out of it, man. Hey, y'all the freshest motherfucking ingredients in the world. But most of all, y'all stay saucy. And we out until next time, man.
Perfect.